the house. Yes. We are back. Welcome to the Bring the House podcast. I am your host, Marshawn Fairley, with my co-host here and the star, Darren T. DT. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited. There's a hill that I want to die on today. I'm looking forward to dying on that hill. You know, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for battle. I'm ready for action today.
And he will die on that hill today. You want to know why? Because this is Sparta, and I'm going to super kick him off that hill. However, today we got an action-packed episode for you guys. We're going to go over Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. This segment here, we're just going to go ahead and go over his stats. Where do we see him? Like, what teams? What is his value to the trade market? Because there's always got to be a value segment in here. And what are our opinions on Justin Fields? So let's go ahead and start off. DT, go ahead and start off with. Let's go ahead and start off with the stats, because we gotta add the context.
Yeah, add the context to it. Mix a little context in it.
Yeah. So go ahead and start off with the stats you see. Go through the 2021 through 2023 seasons, passing and rushing, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So in 2021, he played 12 games, and he does add value to his team, both in the running game and in the passing game, which makes him a plus as a player. But overall, his completion percentage in 2021 was 58%. 58.9%. He had 1,870 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, was sacked a whopping 36 times, and 31.4 QBR on 72 carries. As far as his rush yards, he had 420 rush yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, and 4 fumbles. Only 1 was lost. So really only 1 fumble, if you ask me. But, who's to count? What you got to say on 2021?
So my opinion on Justin Fields for his 2021 season, this is rookie season, so I will understand why his completion percentage would be that low, as well as his touchdown to interception ratio being 7 TDs and 10 interceptions, which is still wild to me, but to each his own. But as we're going to see as we proceed through the stats and through the years, the problem is it starts to become he can't read defenses. But I think it was a fair rookie year. It could have been better, but rookie jitters. That's my opinion on the 2021 season.
If I may interject, right?
Okay.
He played more games his first season than Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady played, right?
Okay.
And so to say that he had a better rookie season than those guys, even though he didn't play,
you're tripping.
Even though he didn't play, that might be true. He had a better rookie season than Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes in terms of regular season. In addition to the fact that guys like Peyton Manning and a few others, they threw a lot of interceptions in their rookie season.
Their rookie campaign. You're correct. You are correct.
Rookie campaign. Another point to that is that because he's a dual threat quarterback, we just had a dual threat quarterback win an MVP, Lamar Jackson, and nobody really talks about how many passing touchdowns he has as just like, oh, he threw for X amount of pass touchdowns. They say, oh, he had X amount of touchdowns, period, right? Mm-hmm. Because they include his rushing and his pass touchdowns. That's an MVP quarterback we're talking about, right? So when you look at Justin Fields' rookie season, he only had 7 passing touchdowns, but he also had 2 rushing touchdowns. So that puts it at 9 total touchdowns to 10 interceptions, which doesn't make that much big a difference, but it does bring it closer. And it's like 50-50 a rookie season that's comparable with rookie seasons for most players across most positions. So I guess you can tell which hill I'm trying to die on.
What I will say is we can agree that the talent is there. We can agree that the talent is there for Justin Fields. Like you said, he's a dual threat quarterback, multifaceted. So that's definitely a pro of his game. You can use him in multiple ways, kind of like a Jalen Hurts type ordeal. However, even though Peyton Manning, and you keep naming these goats to Justin Fields, which is blasphemous, that's ridiculous. It shouldn't even be in the conversation. That rookie season was basically a Zach Wilson-esque season to me, in my opinion. And like I said, as we go on, we're going to see that his problems don't get better. He stays the exact same. So let's go ahead. Let's go on to the next season. You said your opinion on 2021. I said my opinion. Let's go to the next season, 2022.
May I rebut your final point briefly on the 2021 season?
Okay.
First statement was Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, and Tom Brady, were they GOATs after their rookie season? A. B. Could the fact that Justin Fields has not improved be a effect of his team around him not improving? Just ask that question. We can go on to the 2022 season.
Just to go back to 2021, you did state that he was sacked 36 times, which is actually a lot for the amount of games he played. What did he play? 12 or 13 games 2021?
He played 12 games.
12 games. So, yeah, 36 times in 12 games is kind of insane. That's almost 3 a game? Close to 3 a game?
Or is it's 3 a game.
It's 3 a game.
I just did the math. 3 a game.
That's a lot. So,
I'm prepared for this. I'm ready for this. I want to die on this hill. This is the hill I'm dying on.
2022.
Shouts out to Justin Fields. I'm here for it.
Let's go ahead and go into 2022. What happened that year, DT?
He played in 15 games, so 3 more than the previous season. 192 to 318 completions to attempts. 60.4 completion percentage. 2,242 passing yards. 17 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. And sacked 55 times. And a 56.3 QBR.
All right. How about the rushing stats? Rushing stats, because we got to get
you
the
want
full
the rushing
content.
stats as well. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Now you want the rushing stats because my man's been running for his life. So now you want the rushing stats. I'm going to give it to you.
I just want the full context. That's all.
160 carries.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how many was called runs versus scrambles. We don't know. 1,143 yards. The man gave you 3,000 yards of offense, 7.1 yards per carry on the ground, 8 touchdowns, 9 fumbles, and none were lost. So no fumbles. Balls in your court.
Okay. 2022 was definitely a better season for Justin Fields. That QBR is still crazy low, by the way. Somehow, his O-line got worse, which is insane to me. But you know that's not a Justin Fields problem. That's more of an organization problem. However, 17 TDs to 11 interceptions. That's not good. That's still not good.
Going back to our previous conversation, you did not. He's a dual threat quarterback. You have, when you talk about his turnovers, and even add in the passing or the rushing touchdown. 17 plus the 8 equals 25. He didn't have any fumbles lost, so he really had 25 touchdowns to 11 turnovers. This is shots fired. That's a Dak season.
Dang.
Which is clearly about to make him the highest paid quarterback in the league. So why is it good for Dak, but it ain't good for Justin Fields? I'm just asking. I'm just trying to see.
So 2022 was a better season for him. Of course, he's a dual threat quarterback, and we can keep saying that. However, one, he's not winning. He's not getting it done. 2, his QBR is very low. And 11 interceptions, he still can't read the defense. He goes through one or two reads, and he runs. He scrambles. One thing I can say about that I had a fear of with Jordan Love is I thought Jordan Love would be the same way. However, Jordan Love keeps his eyes downfield. And if you look at the way that Lamar plays now, he still keeps his eyes downfield. Now, at the end of the day, the league is about wins and losses. And he doesn't win.
Okay. I hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think that football is the ultimate team game. And looking at these stats, right? This is like half of the picture. Really a quarter of the picture, because we're not seeing overall how good or bad the rushing offense was in all of this. We just know what he did in the rushing game, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, you see and you would acknowledge that his offense around him, or at least his offensive line, got worse from one year to the next.
It did.
You blame him for 1 or 2 reads and out, and he's getting hit. So he's getting sacked 3 times. No, God knows how many times he's getting hit per game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still come back and say, "Oh, he's not a winner." And we remind everybody, his defense has been terrible for the Bears. They've been.
You are correct.
They've been ass trash since he's been there, right?
Okay.
And so I'm just here to point out the fact that he's a very talented player.
Mm-hmm. Not debating
His
that.
coach, nobody would say his offensive coordinator is a top 5 offensive coordinator. Nobody would say that his offensive coordinators have been top 16 offensive minds in the league. Nobody would say that his head coach is a guru of any kind, offense or defense. Nobody would say that he has a player around him at any position that is an all-pro on any team that he plays on. And I know people shout to DJ Moore, and DJ Moore is a fine wide receiver. He's great.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, is he like one of them guys? Is he Calvin Johnson? Is he Dez Bryant in his prime? Is he what people think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be? Is he what Marvin Harrison Sr. was to Peyton Manning? I think the answer to that question would be no, because he wasn't that to the quarterbacks he had in Carolina.
Okay.
Because last time I checked, DJ Moore didn't have the buku 1,000-yard receiving seasons like a Mike Evans has had consistently, like DeAndre Hopkins had with the Texans, even when Deshaun Watson would miss games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the same. His team is largely by miles more the problem than he is. When you evaluate a quarterback, you can't out of both sides of your mouth say, "Oh, he can't read defenses and he runs after the first 2 scrambles," but then also acknowledge that he has the 8th worst offensive line in the league and he's getting sacked more than most quarterbacks in 55 times in 15 games. You can't say both.
So to fire back at you with that, the first point is, you are correct. He's getting sacked 55 times, but how many of those sacks are on him and not the defense? I'm not the offensive line. I'm sorry, and not the offensive line, because he's not making the correct reads, or because he's not making the pre-snap reads, or knowing his hot or who's his hot receiver and things of that nature. One QB that I would like to go ahead and compare second seasons with, since they are kind of the same type of characteristics and build, is Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, his second season, name his wide receivers.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay. At the end of his career, very end of his career. That man was in the retirement home.
He was getting work. He wasn't getting DJ Moore level work, but he was still a chain moving, possession catching, productive player in the league.
Okay.
And that's it of the players I can name.
Yeah, and I could bring that up as well. But I have Kyler Murray's stats pulled up from his 2020 year, which is his second year in the league. 67.2 completion percentage compared to Justin Fields'
60.4.
I would say better. Wouldn't you say a lot better? I wouldn't say the greatest, but definitely better.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Is Cliff Kingsbury a better offensive mind than the guy that he has in Chicago?
I would say no.
Oh,
I would say no. You want to know why? Cliff Kingsbury, that last season proved everything I needed to know when it comes to Cliff Kingsbury. His last season in NFL. That man, offensive abilities and offensive coaching was carried by Kyler Murray.
That's factual. And it was carried by Patrick Mahomes as well at Texas Tech.
Exactly. So I wouldn't even say that. I would say they're comparable. Both the offensive coordinators are comparable, because one thing I will say about the Chicago Bears coordinator is they weren't utilizing Justin Fields correctly. I will say that. They attempted to make him a pocket passing QB, which he's not, which is insane to me, considering the fact in his draft preview wasn't one of his pros or positives that he can make good throws and read defenses and things of that nature. At Ohio State, was he not doing that?
Yeah, he was doing that, but at that point, you know, you're a helmet scouting guy, strictly as far as it pertains to Ohio State and their quarterbacks.
Okay.
At Ohio State, he was throwing to the best wide receivers in the country. You see what I'm saying? Now he's throwing to some of the worst wide receivers in the country.
We're not gonna call DJ Moore some of the worst. And also, Cole Kmet is middle of the pack tight end, bro. Like,
you're correct. I apologize. DJ Moore is the 10th ranked wide receiver this season according to PFF, and Cole Kmet is the 11th ranked tight end according to PFF. So let me rephrase that statement. It's one of the worst offenses, period, in the NFL. He's playing on one of the worst offenses, period, in the NFL.
But how much of that is his fault?
How much of that is not his fault?
If we're gonna say, I would say at the least it's 50% his fault. At the least, it's 50% his fault, and it may be more. When you have a quarterback who can't read the defense,
55 times in 15 games.
When you have a quarterback who can't read the defense, when you have a quarterback who can't complete accurate passes, when you have a quarterback who looks at two receivers and runs and sprints out the pocket, or he keeps the pocket, he doesn't. And I understand you sacked 55 times, but how many of those times are his fault? If we were to break down the film, a lot of them could be his fault of him holding the ball too long. Like, so I wasn't watching, even though the Bears are in the Packers conference, I wasn't watching that much Bears football in 2022, but I did watch a good amount in 2023. And a lot of the sacks, even from 2023, when we get into those statistics, were his fault from holding the ball too long, going through his progressions way too slow, not knowing his hot receivers and the mics and who's coming on the defense. At the end of the day, this man's an Ohio State quarterback. And if Ohio State has showed us anything, other than CJ Stroud is an outlier, but if Ohio State has shown us anything, is that they cannot produce NFL talent QBs. And if we look at their track record, Terrell Pryor, that man switched to a wide receiver in his career in NFL.
Come on, bro. That's a low blow. That's a low blow. Terrell Pryor and Braxton Miller. Great college players, but they wasn't quarterbacks, bro. Nobody wants to see Justin Fields playing wide receiver. You can't even sit there. You can't blame Justin Fields for the fact that Braxton Miller and Terrell Pryor were 5th round talented NFL quarterbacks. Not NFL wide receiver, but in terms of you gonna draft them to play quarterback, they don't possess the skills to be a top pick. Justin Fields has the skills. He has the arm. He has the touch. He has the accuracy. He has the scrambling ability. what skill? Let me ask you this.
Okay.
And what first one point to point to how bad Chicago Bears are as a team, they have the second worst running game in terms of yards per game in the league. That's number one. Number two, what does Patrick Mahomes, talent-wise, pure talent, not production, talent, what does Patrick Mahomes do better or have the talent and ability to do better than Justin Fields?
I would say bigger arm for sure.
I would agree with that. What else?
Throw motion. He can switch the trajectory of his arm. He can throw a sidearm. I have never seen Justin Fields do that. Other than that, he can read a defense. He's not Stevie Wonders out there, Ray Charles. He's going through his routes. He can read a defense pre-snap and post-snap. So, and again, we're not debating. Like I said, one thing we can agree on is Justin Fields' talent. He has talent. That's what the Justin Fields effect is. This man can do everything good except the basics, which is read a defense. How good are you? What's the point of having all this ability if you can't show this ability by reading the defense and throwing to the correct receiver and not running every 20 seconds in the pocket? What's the point? He's at the end of the day, he's not good, and I just want to drill this in to Justin Fields' hand.
No, he is a quarterback who hasn't got his fair opportunity to prove he can or cannot play in the NFL.
His fair opportunity?
No, he has not.
This man has played.
Bro, how could you say he's got a fair opportunity and he doesn't have a run game? Patrick Mahomes has a run game. Tom Brady didn't have a defense. You don't like those comparisons? That's fine. Dak Prescott has CeeDee Lamb to throw to. DeAndre Hopkins, who the Bears were, Deshaun Watson, who the Bears were mad at getting rid of or moving around or not picking in the draft, had DeAndre Hopkins. All these guys that are good quarterback. Name me a good quarterback with a terrible team.
Bring the house.